All right, welcome to the deep dive. Today we're doing something really special, I think. We're kind of journeying to an exotic Indonesian island, a place where these giant, ancient creatures still roam. But here's the twist. What makes this deep dive unique? We're not just exploring the wonders of the Komodo dragon. Oh no, we're also unlocking, the practical side of the Indonesian language itself, especially for you if you're learning the language.
That's exactly right. And our source for this whole adventure, it's this really fascinating lesson note called Seeing Dragons on an Exotic Indonesian Island. It's brilliant, actually. It's got dialogue, key vocabulary, grammar explanations, even cultural insights, all packed in. So our mission basically is to pull out the key info about Komodo dragons, but at the same time, crack open those practical Indonesian phrases and grammar bits that are, super valuable if you're learning. Get ready for some real aha moments, connecting the language, the culture, and these amazing animals.
Okay, so let's jump right in. Our journey starts with something, pretty relatable, I'd say. Imagine being a student, right? You've got this big national exam looming tomorrow, but your head's totally somewhere else, dreaming of summer holidays. That's exactly where we find Dani and Hana in this dialogue. Dani starts off just buzzing with excitement. 2 minggu lagi terminan liburan musim panas. Which basically means in 2 more weeks, it's the beginning of the summer holiday. You know that feeling, right? That pre-vacation buzz.
Oh, absolutely. Classic. But then Hana, she's kind of the practical one here. She quickly brings him back to reality. Jangan terlalu senang, kamu masih ada ujian nasional besok. Don't get too excited. You still have the national exam tomorrow.
Yeah.
A familiar scene for, probably anyone who's ever been a student.
Oh, definitely. And Donnie's response, it just perfectly captures that feeling of wanting to fast forward. He says, Andai aku bisa melewati saja bagian ujian ini dan langsung mulai liburan, or, I wish I could just skip this exam part and start the holiday. I think we've all felt that, haven't we? Some version of that wish. And what's great is Hana's reply, it's so understanding. Ketika aku seusiamu, aku juga menginginkan hal yang sama. When I was your age, I wish the same thing too. Such a natural, empathetic exchange.
Yeah, it really is. And this simple chat, it just fell right into a real holiday plan. Dani, clearly eager, asks, selesai ujian ini, boleh kita pergi liburan ke Pulau Rinca? And so, after this exam, can we go on holiday to Rinca Island? And Hana agrees. Says it's a good idea. Why? Because on Rinca Island, they can gabati kehidupan Komodo secara langsung di sana. Basically, observe how the Komodo dragons live there. Just the thought seems to erase the exam stress for Dani.
It really does. And he's not just excited about the dragons either. He's clearly done his homework because he immediately mentions something else amazing about the island. He says, tidak hanya Komodo tetapi juga terkenal akan pantai indah yang berwarna merah muda and a pink beach.
Wow! So not only Komodo dragons, it's also famous for the beautiful pink beach. And then Hana, gently brings him back. Kelihatannya kamu tahu banyak tentang Pulau Rinca. Sekarang waktunya kembali belajar. You seem to know a lot about Rinca Island. Now get back to your studies. With a smile, you imagine.
And what's really valuable here, especially if you're learning Indonesian, is how this simple, everyday dialogue gives you a perfect, natural setting for learning basic conversation. You're seeing words used for planning, for making wishes, showing excitement about travel. It's not just, memorizing lists. It shows how these simple bits build up into real communication.
That's a really good point. It makes it so much more practical. Okay, so we've heard some of these words used. Let's dig into some of the core vocabulary the source highlights. These are words that pop up all the time in Indonesian, especially around holidays and travel. There are 8 key ones here. Let's unpack them.
Right. First up, kembali. That's an adverb meaning to return or to be back. Then we have permulan. It's a noun, means beginning. Next, liburan, also a noun, that's your holiday or vacation. Senangin, that's an adjective. Excited, happy. Ingin, a verb, means to want or to wish. Then ketika, an adverb meaning when or while. Masih, another adverb, means still. And finally, indah, an adjective but specifically for beautiful when talking about things, not people, like that pink beach.
Yeah, and seeing them in sentences really helps nail down the meaning, doesn't it? Like for kembali, the source gives, karena hal yang mendesak, Andi segera kembali ke Jakarta. What does that show us?
Well, it clearly shows kembali meaning returning to a place, movement back. So because of an emergency, Andi went back to Jakarta in a hurry. Pretty straightforward, common usage.
Okay, and liburan, perfect for our Komodo trip. The source says, banyak turis asing datang ke Bali untuk berlibur. This sentence seems to show it used like as an action.
Exactly. A lot of foreign tourists come to Bali for a vacation or to vacation.
Yeah.
It shows how liburan works as the noun vacation, but also in the phrase berlibur, meaning to go on vacation. Very useful distinction.
Got it. And senang for feelings, like Dani's excitement. Dani sang senang mendapat hadiah dari kakak.
Yeah.
You can really feel the happiness there.
Definitely. Danny was very excited to receive a present from his older sister or brother. It's a great word for expressing that kind of positive emotion.
Right. And then ketika and masih together, ketika setelah dimulai kami masih terjebak oleh masa.
Yeah.
That paints a picture, doesn't it? When the concert started, we were still trapped by the traffic. Captures that frustrating feeling perfectly. Shows both when and still really well.
Yeah, and the source also dives a bit deeper into how these words are used in common phrases, which is, super helpful for sounding natural. Take liburan. It's not just the noun holiday, like in liburan musim panas, summer holiday, or liburan sekolah, school holiday. People use it dynamically too, like saying they are on holiday, sedang liburan. It describes the activity.
Okay, that makes sense. That distinction helps. And ketika, you said it means when or while. Seems versatile. Think of phrases like ketika aku kecil when I was a kid, or ketika dia sedang liburan when he was on holiday. What's the key thing for learners about using it, especially with past stuff?
Well, a really important point about ketika is how often it's used to describe past events. Kind of sets the scene. Like the example, ketika belahar ibu masuk membawakan makanan. While I was studying, mother came and brought me food. It frames the context, without needing complex verb changes like in English.
Right, that simplifies things.
Well,
and kembali seems pretty flexible too. How else does it pop up?
Yeah, it's basically back. So you hear dia sudah kembali, is back, or kembali ke negaraku, back to my country. Aku akan kembali. I will be back. It's very common for talking about someone or something returning. And a nice phrase is senang melihatmu kembali, which is just glad to see you back. These are the little phrases that really make your Indonesian sound, more fluent, more natural.
Okay, great stuff. So moving on from the vocabulary, let's circle back to Donnie's wish. Remember, andai aku bisa melewati saja bagian ujian ini dan langsung mulai liburan. That very relatable feeling. And it actually opens up a really interesting look at how Indonesian handles wishes and if statements. It's quite different from English.
It really is. What's super useful to know is that Indonesian generally uses two main ways for these conditional ideas. You've got jika or kalau, both basically mean if or whether, pretty standard. And then there's andai. This one is more like I wish or if only. It carries that sense of longing. Now, here's a crucial difference from English. Indonesian doesn't really change verb tenses for past conditions like we do. Instead, to talk about something in the past within an if clause, they often just add the word dulu.
Wow, okay. That's a big structural shift for English speakers to wrap their heads around. Can you walk us through an example? Maybe jika with or without dulu?
Sure. So, jika aku pelajar, aku akan lulus ujian. Simple. If I study hard, I will pass the exam. Future or general condition, right? But add dulu. Jika aku dulu belajar, aku pasti akan lulus ujian. See the difference? Now it means if I had studied hard, I would have passed the exam. It shifts it firmly into that hypothetical past, unfulfilled condition. Another good one for a sort of hypothetical present. Jika ayahnya masih hidup, beliau pasti bangga dengan keberhasilan anaknya. If his father were still alive, he would be proud of his son's success. Again, using jika, but the context makes it clear it's contrary to fact.
That really clarifies it. Okay, now let's look closer at andai. The source says it specifically, I wish, or if only, often for things that are like supernatural or just really difficult to achieve. It has that strong feeling of wishing things were different, right? Can you give an example of that?
Absolutely, it carries real weight. Think about this one, Andai, aku bisa kembali di masa lalu. Aku tidak akan mengulangi kesalahan yang sama. It translates to, I wish I could return to my past. I would not repeat the same mistake again. Or you could say, if only I could return. It's that deep desire for something impossible, a different reality. Or wanting someone there, like andai ada di sini, aku akan lebih bahagia. That really hits that note of yearning for something that isn't true right now. I wish you were here, I could be happier. Or if only you were here, adds real emotion. Exactly. And here's a little extra detail for you. While andai is common, sometimes, especially in writing or more, say, poetic situations, you might see seandainya. It's like a slightly more formal or evocative version of andai. The source has this beautiful example. Seandainya aku bisa terbang, akan kupetik rembulan untukmu. It's not just if I could fly, it's more like, I wish I could fly, I would bring the moon and give it to you, or if only I could fly. It's got that really romantic, almost mythical quality. Shows the expressive depth of the language.
Wow, yeah, that is a whole other layer, doesn't it? Beautiful. So we've spent a good chunk of time on the language side, which is, our main focus here today.
Right.
But let's not forget what sparked Donnie's holiday dreams in the first place. The Komodo dragon.
Yeah.
These creatures are just awe-inspiring.
They really are. Komodo dragons, they're an indigenous species, giant lizards found only in Indonesia. They're the absolute top predators in their ecosystems, and you find them mainly on the islands of Rinca, Komodo itself, Flores, Padar, and Gili Motang. Their presence really shapes those environments.
And they are physically incredible. I mean, scientists found they have a venomous bite, really useful for hunting. And picture this, they can grow up to 3 meters long. That's nearly 10 feet.
Huge.
Yeah, and weigh 160 kilos. That's over 350 pounds. But here's the kicker. Despite that size, they're surprisingly fast. They can run up to 20 kilometers an hour. That's about 12 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Quick for such a big animal.
It's pretty amazing, isn't it? Such power and speed. But, despite being top predators, they are actually a vulnerable species. They're protected under Indonesian law, which shows how important they are to the country's heritage. In fact, the Komodo National Park on Komodo Island was specifically set up to help preserve them. It's a really vital conservation effort.
So when you think about Donnie studying for exams and dreaming about observing how the Komodo dragons live there, It totally makes sense why that idea got him so excited. It's not just the amazing animals, but their whole habitat, that pink beach.
Right.
It sounds incredible. What a great mix of nature, culture, and, well, a fantastic reason to learn some Indonesian.
Absolutely. This whole deep dive really shows how neatly you can blend language learning with learning about the world. We started with Donnie just wanting to skip an exam, and from there we've unpacked useful Indonesian phrases, grammar points, all while getting to know one of the planet's most incredible creatures and the amazing place it calls home. It's kind of a shortcut, really, to understanding both the language and the context.
Definitely. And that brings us to our final thought for you to mull over today. This deep dive really highlights how a simple desire like dreaming of a summer holiday can unlock so much, not just doors to amazing creatures and places, but also to a deeper grasp of a language and its cultural viewpoint. So, as you continue your own language journey, think about this. What other everyday wishes or simple plans or curiosities could lead you to unexpected knowledge and richer cultural connections? Worth pondering. Keep exploring.
Thank you for watching this video. Hopefully useful. Don't forget to like and subscribe.